you hear yourself?
Test.
Test,
Yeah.
test, perf. Okay. Hey, hi guys. Welcome back to Spark XM. I'm your host, Sheena Kim, and I'm here with my friend and music producer.
Aidan Han.
Hello, Aiden.
What's up,
How are
Sheena?
you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So to introduce, actually, no, before that, we have to do a Spark fun question. Hot take. What is your hottest take on your worst, like, artist at this time? Like, who do you think?
Who's the worst artist right now?
Yeah,
That's
but
popular,
that's
maybe?
a hot take. Yeah.
Okay. I think I don't like Blast that much. Do you know Blast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like, I feel like a lot of people don't like Blast.
Really?
Really?
I think he's pretty popular. Or what about
Okay, give me like pop culture.
pop culture hot
Like,
take?
Yeah, pop culture hot take. Wait, low key,
Shoot.
the other day you said something and I was like, you're like, I don't really like Ari music.
Oh, Ariana Grande?
Yeah.
Wait, it's just too girly for me.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, valid. One more.
Another artist that I don't like? Damn, just shooting shots.
Yeah.
today.
I gotta make you cancel today.
Let's see. I think Metro Boomin is kind of boring.
Ah. Okay. You know,
Yeah,
hot
he's
take.
good, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, valid. Okay. Let's get into it. So tell us what you do. Just tell us what you do.
Yeah. So I'm a music producer. I've been living in the LA area for a while. And since high school, I started working with a lot of different rappers and music producers in the area. And yeah, I've done songs with Polo G, 2C, PNB Rock, and yeah, a bunch of other artists.
Would you
Yeah.
say you have like a specific genre that you produce for?
Mm. I mainly like to do hip hop music, but pop is fun too. And I have a lot of friends that make like Asian R&B music, so been kind of getting into that as well lately.
Right. Well, you said that you started in high school. What made you get into music or like producing?
So, okay. I think I first started getting into producing when I was in middle school actually,
Okay.
because I just used to watch a lot of YouTube videos with my friends of how like there's this producer Nick Mira who made a lot of the rap songs back in the day. So, and he would literally post on YouTube like how he made songs for like Juice WRLD or for Lil Tecca.
Right.
And me and my friends were really into those videos, so we would just like watch them in class. And, but I wasn't really serious about it until high school because during the COVID year, which was my sophomore year, I just had a lot of free time and I was really bored. So I'm like, shoot, what should I do with all my time? And some of Nick Mira's videos popped up again. And I was like, damn, like I should,
Sounds kind of cool.
yeah, like I think I'm gonna pick this up as a hobby and
Yeah.
try to make a lot of music because I have all this time.
So did you start off with like GarageBand or in like middle school? And
I
then,
did, yeah.
Like I
Just
know
on the iPhone.
on the iPhone?
Yeah, it's super jank, but yeah,
Like during recess?
pretty much. No, like during class too.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so me and my
okay.
friend, we would sit in the back. This kid, Jason Matsuda, shout out him.
Wow.
Yeah, we would literally just be like making beats when we're supposed to be doing work.
You know, valid. Better than like gaming, because for your career, you could say it's for your career.
That's true, yeah.
Then would you say like now, like I know producing takes a lot of like equipment, a lot of like special gear as well. Like, how did you like accumulate that from like your phone GarageBand and like to what you are now?
So a lot of the music production softwares nowadays, they have a lot of free tools that you could start out with. But obviously, if you just use the free tools, it's gonna sound really bad. So I remember Christmas of my freshman year of high school, I asked my parents to buy me this one software. It's called Omnisphere. And
Okay.
low key, it's hella expensive. It was like $500. Like I pitched in some of my money.
Wow, the software's
and
$500.
Yeah, and they helped me out a little bit, and I was able to get that one. And it's basically just a lot of software sounds.
Yeah.
So like you could get like pad sounds or bell sounds, and it was really popular back during that time. So I had the most up to date
Oh.
sound thing basically.
So you're lucky that your parents got you like that.
Yeah.
Then do you still invest in, or like with, at that time you said it's up to date, but do you feel like you're still like finding new equipment to make your sound better, or just like, yeah? Tell me about that.
So nowadays there's so many new tools that's coming out all the time, and it's really easy to just spend like so much money, just keep on buying equipment, right?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty comfortable with the tools that I have, and that's still probably the biggest purchase that I've made.
Your first purchase.
Yeah, the first purchase, because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I needed that to make good music, right?
Do you still use it?
I do use it, yeah.
Okay.
But it is a little bit outdated, but I feel like it's kind of in my sound now. So, because since I use the same sounds a lot in a lot of my songs.
So it's part of like your music identity.
Yeah, it's kind of like my signature, I guess.
Wow. Okay. Then would you say like your signature or like now your sound was inspired by like those around you? You said you were started networking, you made friends in the area. So tell me about like your inspiration and like maybe like your muse.
My muse? Let's see. So I think when I first started, I was really inspired by Ed Sheeran. I would say Ed Sheeran was my muse. Yeah.
Did you not say you made rap music?
Yeah, so I think my guitar melodies did really well because I was inspired by Ed Sheeran, but I was trying to work with all of those like hip hop rappers, right?
So you mix those two up together.
Yeah. I think all of the best producers do that. You kind of have to take inspiration from like surprising sources kind of to have like an interesting sound, I guess.
Wow. So Ed Sheeran was like your first inspiration or like your music inspiration. Would you say those around you also inspired you?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I was a huge fan of this artist Trevor Daniel. And he also had a bunch of friends from his hometown in Houston that I would try to work with so that I could like kind of get more in that scene, because I was just really into, I think it's like sad melodic R&B kind of music.
Yeah.
It was pretty popular at the time. So there was this one artist, Love on Friday, that kind of took me under his wing, and he helped me out a lot, like introduced me to people, and I made a lot of songs with him back in the day. And yeah, I was really inspired by like the Houston artists.
Oh, wow. Then would you say that as like a rising musician, like making like connections and learning from maybe those who are more seasoned are more like really important?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. 'Cause I mean, you kind of have to have people that are, or you want to usually surround yourself with people that are better than you, because then you're just going to remain stagnant, right?
Right.
So nowadays, I mentioned earlier that some of my friends make a lot of Asian R&B music. So that's a genre that I'm super unfamiliar with, but I think it sounds really cool. I like to listen to it in my free time, like Haze, Keshi's cool. It's pretty basic. But
Oh, we love Keshi.
yeah,
We
Keshi,
love Keshi.
yeah, and like some of the 88 Rising people. But yeah, recently I met these guys, Bixby, Starfall, and June, Bertoy.
I love all their music.
They're really good. You guys should check them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've kind of been, or they haven't really been showing me how they make their music, but like I'm around them when they're making songs, and it's just cool to see how the process is different from like pop and hip hop music.
Okay, so how did you meet these people? They're like a wide range of people, I'll say.
So the first person that I met was this producer, Jamel. So wait, how did I meet Jamel? It was like 2 years ago. I was just scrolling on Instagram, and I heard this song by this artist, Jades, that I thought was really good. So usually when I hear a song that I think is really good, I go to check out like who's the producer of it or the songwriter, because that's kind of how you get connected with the artists too, right? You have to work with the people around them. So I'm like, oh, this guy Jamal's cool. So I hit him with a DM like, hey, that recent snippet you posted is really good. Like, do you want to get some work in?
Oh, so do you often like slide in to the DMs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much Instagram's like the main way that I like to network with people. Yeah. But then Jamel called me a few weeks later, like after we already worked on some stuff, and he's like, hey, do you want to hop on Valorant? I'm playing with this guy Bixby and Starfall.
Oh, wow. So through a game.
Through Valorant,
Okay.
yeah. So we played a few games of Valorant, and then as I'm talking with them, I'm like, yo, like, where you guys from? And mind you, Jamel is from Hawaii, so I wasn't expecting these guys to live near me. So Starfall, he also said that he was from Hawaii, but then Bixie, it turned out that he lived like 10 minutes away from me. So yeah, we hung out the following week, like we got food, and then yeah, just kind of hung out with them from
Wow.
there.
So, would you say low key, if you're an introvert in the field, it might be kind of tough to make connections because you just like don't care, love your music, let's work together. So you have to push. Did you like feel like you pushed yourself to do that, or you just like really was inclined to just reach out?
Mm, well, I think nowadays, since there's like Discord and you could work with people online through like Zoom and stuff, you don't have to be a super sociable person to make those connections. But personally, I was just such a huge fan of all of the different artists that I would want to reach out to. Like those guys from Houston, like Love on Friday, Trevor, like I would always be trying to like hit them up or try to send them beats because I just really wanted to work with them. And like I feel like since I had that genuine like love for
Passion,
their
right?
music, it made it just very natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I really hope that this like love for music, your passion, like doesn't like simmer away. Because I know now, especially you're working a lot more with music. You did tell me about burnout and
Hmm.
how, especially as a musician, like creative block, maybe stuff with finances can get in the way. So could you please tell us something about like your journey now, like and your viewpoint on music and how it may have changed?
Yeah. Okay, so when I was in high school, my life dream was to just be a music producer full time, right?
Mm.
I was going to studio sessions all the time and I was super motivated to literally just make music all day.
Mm.
But I think the burnout comes when you're working really hard for something and then you don't always get the result that you want. And in music, that's just bound to happen because when you're working with all of these artists, you have to constantly be sending them ideas and beats. And there's no guarantee that they'll like what you're sending, obviously. So, yeah, that part's a little bit frustrating. But at the same time, it's really fun when just like on a random day, you could just check your phone and then the artist hits you up like, oh, like we made this crazy song in the studio yesterday and we're planning on releasing it on the next project. And I feel like that kind of up and down makes it really exciting, I guess.
So like the surprises and the disappointments make the highs a lot higher in a
Yeah.
way. Um, so connecting to that, do you think that's sustainable? Because there are so many surprises, it's not that consistent. So when it comes to like your future plans, like do you see yourself continuing doing music?
Right. So, um, yeah, I think recently, as I'm like a college student at USC and being in the music industry program here, I've realized that there's a lot of different ways that you could be involved in music without having to be on the creative side.
Right.
And I don't know if I would want to put like that kind of monetary pressure on the thing that I love doing, right? So recently I've kind of been trying to only make music when I want to, like when I'm feeling inspired. And I think that's been a lot better. Like it's a lot more productive when
For sure.
you're um yeah, when you're really feeling what you're making, I
Oh,
guess.
absolutely. I completely understand because when I make YouTube videos, like I started off as a hobby, like completely because I loved it. It was so much fun. But
Mhm.
the monetary pressure part comes in, and now your hobby becomes a career, a job, and the passion starts to subside, and then now it becomes a chore. And it's really sad when like creatives go through that, where it's like we finally get to do what we want to do, but then now we get confused. Do we really want to do this? Because we're not inspired. We're just kind of forced into it. So I'm glad that you kind of pivoted in a way too, where the music that you're like pumping out is something that you're super proud of. Um, so are you still trying to like find your like music identity, or are you just still really happy with what you have now and just when you're inspired, do you put your own spin to it or trying to like change up your vibe?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
I think so. So right now, I'm really happy with the people that I currently work with. Like, like I know a lot of people always say that the music industry is like really dark and there's like a lot of shady people, right? But luckily, most of the people that I've worked with have been like really good to me. Whether like we're like helping each other out, trying to get songs in these different albums, or whether they're artists that I just have like good relationship with. And now there's like a wide variety of artists that I work with too. Like there's pop artists. Like I have a friend Gavin that I like to work with a lot. He does like kind of country, folk pop music.
Whoa, you make country?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty different,
Yeah.
but like it's kind of refreshing to be able to make like a lot of different genres, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And do you think that you have to be like trained to make different genres, or like do you just feel it and just try it out? Because I know there are probably different techniques and like sounds that you have to be familiar with. So how did you get into that when you're trying to make different types of music?
I think the biggest way is just to listen to a lot of the type of music that you're trying to make. So, oh, that's another thing actually. So I was talking about this with some of my music friends. Like we have to kind of be careful with what we're listening to all the time because it kind of seeps into what we're creating. So one of my artist friends, he was telling me that he actually doesn't listen to any music when he knows that he has to record
Wow.
because then he might like accidentally take ideas from a certain artist or his melody lines might start to sound a little bit different. So I definitely noticed that when I listen to weirder music, like my melodies and beats start to get a little bit weirder. Yeah, so you kind of got to be careful.
But like you kind of filter some. So let's say if you're trying to make this type of music, would you not listen to that genre, or would you listen to more of that genre so your music sounds like that, or would you like not?
You could do a little bit of both. Like listen to this other genres to kind of just add a little bit of variance because you don't want to obviously sound like all of the other songs in that genre because then your song won't be popular if it just blends in with everything, right?
Yeah.
But then also you can't be so far removed that it's like totally different and the fans think it's weird.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And that's a lot of effort that you have to put in when making music, not even the creative part, but like the inspiration. What would you say right now is like your driving motivation to continue what you're doing?
Wait, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it for so long that you just think like you love doing it, but it does take a lot of like inner motivation to continue and sustain it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the same reason as why I started making music. Like I feel like the way that I create music is just it's like a sound version of whatever I'm feeling at the time. So it's kind of like journaling with music notes for me, which I just think is really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Like I know back in the day when I was in high school, I wouldn't really have artists that I was trying to sound like. It would more just be like an emotion. So like if I had to make sad melodies for somebody, I would watch like Naruto or like one of those really sad shows
Yeah.
and just like have it on mute and then just like play my guitar,
Just
like record into the mic.
Feel.
Yeah.
Wow. So is the same reason why you're making music now is like a way to express your feelings without words type thing?
Yeah, it's like artistic journaling, I guess.
But if you're trying to work for artists, it can't always be like that, no?
That's true, yeah. But I think a lot of the artists that I work with right now, their sound is kind of similar to my sound now. Because yeah, once as a producer you have your own sound, I think artists and other producers kind of know you for that certain vibe, right?
Right.
So I was really popular in 2020 for making sad guitar melodies. And I'm kind of trying to go away from that a little bit because the music's kind of boring and it's like a little bit hard to listen to a lot because it is like sad. But Yeah, the artists that I work with, they're generally looking for that when they hit me up. So
Wow, still?
yeah, for the most part. Um, but again, it could get really boring when you're making the exact same vibe over and over,
Yeah.
which that I think that happens a lot for producers that like they could get kind of tunneled in their genre, right? Because if that's what you're good at, then that's what people are gonna always ask for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been vlogging for 3 years and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I get so bored. Like right now, my creativity is run dry because not even creative anymore. You just have a template in your mind and you just spam it. And that's what people like, so you try to give it to them. But then on your side, it's kind of like I'm kind of over this, but I kind of have to because you feel like that's what people want. But I'm glad that you're trying to pivot. Do you feel like your music now is better representative of you than 2020?
I think it's always changing. So my music in 2020, I think, was a representation of how I was in 2020.
Oh, like COVID,
Yeah,
sad high
like
school
sad.
kid.
You're just in your room, can't go outside because it's COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm just having a lot more fun with it, honestly, right now, because I'm like not thinking of it as like having some sort of pressure, just like making music when I want to. And I realized that when I just make music when I want to, I make music a lot more than when I like force myself to do it.
Right.
Cause then like I think you could hear it in the songs as well. Like I'm sure there's artists that you listen to where it sounds like they weren't really feeling it when they recorded the song.
Right.
Or it sounds very contrived. Like they're making like a parody of themselves or something. Yeah.
I see. Then would you say that another outlet you have that maybe like makes you a little bit more excited with music is also DJing? Because I know you're getting into that a little bit more back starting college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you start doing that because you felt like you wanted to expand your creativity, or yeah, tell me how you started.
Yeah. So over the summer, so I had plans to live with a few of my friends at this house, a little bit off campus, and I knew that they wanted to throw parties, but they didn't have a DJ. So they're like, "Oh, Aiden, you're a music producer, so do you want to DJ for us?" But like music production and DJing is two totally different things.
Absolutely different things.
Yeah, it's like I'd say DJing is more like playing an instrument while producing is more creative, like making up songs, like songwriting
Right.
kind of. So I had to pick up this new skill set because I wanted to DJ for my friends. And I was talking about this with my uncle because I knew that he used to DJ when he was in college. And he was like, "Oh, actually, you could just have my old board that I used to use."
Wow.
And he gave me this really nice board. It's like $1,000. But I just got to practice a lot on that and just watched a lot of YouTube videos. And after about a month of practicing, we were back in school at the house, right? And my friends were ready to throw their party. I was like hella stressing because I only was practicing for a month,
Yeah.
you know?
So you're so much pressure to
Yeah.
host a party.
But basically, I just planned out the entire set. It was like 3 hours of every single song was planned.
You knew exactly what to do, every transition.
Literally.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it good?
I think it was pretty good. Yeah. Wait, were you there?
Wait.
It was the
Wait, was it this year?
It was this
No,
past
for
year
s-
in the
this
fall.
semester.
Yeah.
I probably was there actually.
Mm.
Yeah. With your lanyard.
No. It was
Before
It was
lanyard.
before the lanyards.
Okay.
We
Okay,
might have to
yeah.
cut that out. Yeah, the fashionable lanyard.
Yeah, the fashion line. Wait,
Yeah.
okay. I was probably there because I was a freshman and I was just going to all the parties.
Right.
Yeah,
As you should.
as I
Having
should.
fun.
I see you quite often actually. Do you still have fun like doing these parties and like DJing? I know you were at an
Yeah.
event recently because I was at some influencer event and I see this guy at Melrose at a little girly pop venue doing your thing. Like, do you like DJing? Like, I know you just started, so
Yeah. Yo, so at first, I didn't like it as much as producing because, so when you're producing, if you mess up a line, like, you could just record it again because it's just you in your bedroom, right? Like, there's nobody watching. Or if you're in the studio, it's natural to mess up, so you can just do it over and over. But then when you're DJing, there's like so many people and you're kind of trying to keep the vibe, right? And if you mess up too many times, the vibe could get thrown off. Like, I know you're there that one time where I had like 3 really bad transitions in a row because
Yeah, he just messed up a little bit.
yeah. But no, I think the more you do it, you get a little bit better, and
Confidence.
yeah, you don't have to think about it as much. It's just it's like driving almost. Like when you first start, it's kind of sus and you have to think about everything that you're doing. But then if you keep on doing it, then
You become one with the board.
no, literally, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It's like an extension of yourself.
That is so cool. What do you think about people saying being a good DJ is having good riz?
Wait, what? Wait, say that again?
What do you think about being a good DJ is also having good riz? What do you think about that?
Oh, like rizzing the crowd?
Riz. Yes.
I mean, okay, I think there's 2 different sides to it. You could be like super performance oriented and people think you're a good DJ just because you bring the vibes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'd say someone like that is like DJ Khaled. I don't know if he could actually DJ, but
Oh.
everyone loves him,
Whoa.
right?
Okay. Right.
Or I don't know. I haven't really seen any videos, but or you could be super technically good, and like if you're that good to a certain extent, it doesn't matter how lit you are because
Right.
the music that you're playing is cool.
Right.
But
So you say the first one is more riz.
yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then could you also tell us about how, I mean, whenever I see DJ videos, people are like moving, doing all this cool hand gestures. Like, what's all of that about? And tell us
yeah.
the real lore.
The real lore
The real
behind
lore.
DJing,
Yes.
like what it is. So DJing is pretty much you just play music and you try to do cool transitions between songs. So for my board, I only have 2 decks. So I could switch from this song to this song. And I usually try to make it sound smooth. But I know there's a lot of DJs that do like a lot of cool effects so that it's very much like in your face when they're doing a transition, right? And there's also like hip hop DJs that do like scratching, like waka waka
Yeah.
when they're
Can you do
mixing.
that?
No, I want to learn though. I think over the summer I'm
You
gonna try
should
to pick it
learn.
up a little bit more.
I mean, I was more talking about, like, what do you, whenever I see DJs, you did mention about how some of what they're doing is performance. So tell us about that.
Oh,
Yeah. Because for non-DJers, I just think they look cool.
right.
But what are they really doing?
Oh, so I mean, I'm sure you've seen like the knobs. Like when you turn the knobs, like sometimes it turns on an effect, or like when you're DJing, you're playing a lot of different tracks, right? And some songs will have like lower bass or lower high frequencies, so it's like harder to hear. So you want to like turn it up so it kind of matches and that the energy is still high. But actually, if you ever go to like a festival or any of those shows, those are all like pre-recorded sets. So I'm pretty sure they're just like
Faking it.
they're just
acting
faking it because I think someone was telling me that like when there's a light production or when there's visuals in the show, generally like if it's really in sync, then that means that they pre-planned it because they can't have like the crazy visuals if they didn't plan for it before, right?
Right. That was
Yeah.
so shocking when I first heard that. I just thought they were just doing on the spot. But that makes sense. If you have so much production planned around it, it has to sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
So if you just see, like, if you go to a rave, they're just dancing, acting.
Yeah, I think so. Wait, I don't want to say any names
Okay,
because
yes.
there's definitely a lot of DJs that still do it live, like
Right.
Skrillex or Fred
Yeah.
again. But
Would you say
Yeah.
when you DJ sometimes, are you acting sometimes?
oh, like sometimes if the song's really long, like sometimes I'll just like turn the knobs, like kind of look like I'm doing
Do
something.
something.
Yeah. But for the most part, like you don't have that much time to pick the next song, so you kind of have to like prep it and
Yeah, you're
make
like
sure.
doing a lot while you just like put on your headphones, putting it on, putting it off.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things to have
It's a
mind.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's harder than it looks.
It's
Because when I
definitely harder
first
than it
started, I
looks.
thought that it wouldn't be that tough because I was producing music, but it's just a totally different skill set.
Mm,
Yeah.
that is so interesting. Then do you like what do you like what's your biggest advice that you can give about like creativity? Because I know you do a lot of different creative things, DJing, producing. I know you also like fashion. So, yeah, what's a piece of advice that you can give to people who are trying to express their creativity and they don't know really what to do?
Mm. Wait, to clarify, do you mean for people that are already making things or
No,
people
it's like
that.
for any students, like they have like inkling, they've been wanting to try and they really just don't know what the first step is.
I think that if you if you're interested in like a creative pursuit, then you should just try it out because in the beginning, it's always going to sound bad, but the more you do it, you'll obviously get better. And you also don't have to tell people that you're making music. I think that's one thing that a lot of people do wrong. Because when you tell people that you're doing something, it kind of puts a pressure on it. Because, people ask you like, oh, like, how's the music thing going? Or like, oh, like, have you made any art recently? And I don't know, you might like feel obligated to show it. But I think just working on it by yourself and also having a few friends that are doing the same thing as you makes it a lot more fun.
That makes sense. So you can try to minimize all the pressures around it. Then what would you say is the biggest hardship that you had to go through throughout your creative journey?
Mm. I think the first 2 years that I was producing was the hardest because I first started getting in really serious into it in 2019. And wait, do you know who Internet Money is?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so Internet Money is like a huge producer group. They've produced like Ransom by Lil Tecca,
Mm.
um, Fuck Love by XXX, Robbery, Juice WRLD. Like they did
Okay,
all
like
of the
the
biggest
big
rap
songs.
songs
Yeah.
back in the day. But during that time, every single producer wanted to be like them. But the problem with Internet Money is that their beats are so simple that when you're trying to replicate them, like you kind of just blend in with the crowd because you're like everyone else. So me, I was making Juice WRLD type beats for like 2 whole years without any recognition and without any success. Like no artists were hitting me back. But during that time, I was really building my connections and building my skill set because I think if I didn't go through that time where I wasn't getting songs with anybody, I wouldn't have tried to improve as much. Like one thing that I did was every single week I would spend a lot of time trying to learn new songs. Back then it was a lot of Ed Sheeran for some reason. I would try to learn like a new Ed Sheeran song every
Like
day.
replicating too.
Yeah.
Because that's yourself learning.
Yeah. So say like I learned how to play Thinking Out Loud on guitar. I would then try to go record an idea that's similar to Thinking Out Loud just so that I have it. And you could, I think you could get away with doing a lot of like taking inspiration from artists without directly copying them. Like you could like strum the song the same way, but then play different chords. And that was kind of how I first started making up my own melodies for songs. But I don't know. I've been rambling for a while. It's just really hard to work with no results, I think.
Right. So when you're trying, so you say your hardest journey or like segment would be when you've been trying so hard, putting so much effort, you're inspired, but there's nothing tangible that is resulting from all of it.
Yeah, but actually, now that I think about it, in the beginning, there was no reason for me to have results because I wasn't good yet.
Mm.
So I think one of the really hard parts is just getting good. Yeah.
Right.
Because you have to watch so many YouTube videos and there's so much bad content out there too because anyone could be a content creator, right? Like you don't really have to be an expert to
Right.
post a YouTube video.
So actually just learning the skills and being familiar with it was probably the hardest part.
Just in the beginning because like once you get better, your network also opens up a lot too because there's more people to work with and you could learn from the people that you're in the studio with.
Right.
But yeah, funny story. When I remember a year after I started producing, I thought that one of the ways that I could like get popular is if I made YouTube tutorials, right? So
You made YouTube videos?
I made 2 YouTube tutorials.
Wow. Okay.
And it was so bad because now that I look back, I had no idea what I was talking about. But I called it like, oh, mixing and mastering secrets that music producers don't want you to know or something. No, I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just like making some stuff up.
Some secret, like,
Yeah, secret techniques that no one knows about.
wow.
I pretty much just made it up.
You're crazy. So did you get the views?
It got like a couple thousand views.
Okay.
But it was so funny because nowadays I still didn't take them down yet. So, I mean, no one look it up. But
Guys, look it up. Look it up.
But yeah, like I would get comments on that old videos and
Saying,
like,
this is fire.
yeah, like this fire, like, oh, like you're spilling the sauce or something.
Yeah, and you're
No,
like,
I just
I don't
made
know.
that shit up. It's so bad.
Wait, what do you mean? What if it's valid though? Like, were they good tips at least?
Like my beat sounded so bad at the time, so it's not even that valid.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
literally just like a 9th grader, just like, yeah, so you want to move this knob here and do this and
Wow. Well, I think those type of videos, the main target audience would be people trying to get into it. So it's all beginners.
right.
So
Yeah.
for them, it's like, yo. But people who are seasoned will not watch those videos.
Right. So I guess it kind of worked.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
Teaching the more beginner
I think
people.
you should continue doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you gotta help me, Sheena.
Well, I can help you.
Show me some of that YouTube expertise.
I can help you with editing. And honestly, clickbaity titles, despite it being kind of manipulating, it works. And it can be helpful. Like, you are spilling the sauce to a certain degree. It might not be the best sauce, but like,
right.
it is sauce.
Well, you're like sharing what you know at the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
Because I think people also really like the journey too.
Mm-hmm.
Like for you too. Like you weren't just posting videos after you got into school. Like
Oh,
it was like the whole
yeah.
progression, right?
When I mean, I look at my videos 2 years ago and the editing is horrible. Like, I am like, why does this video have so many views? People are saying this is amazing. Like right now are
Yeah.
commenting, oh, this high school video is so cute. I'm like, no, it's not. It's cringe and it's horrible. But then I think the progression is amazing. Like that's like the best part that I can, like, that's why I like YouTube. So I can see my life and also how I've like changed as like a content creator. So I think similar with music, you can hear like your old beats and be like, that's kind of bad. But like, it's also kind of good at the same time because you could see what you were like at that era. I
Yeah,
think you should
it's like a
start
journal.
making content. You should start making content.
Maybe try it.
Because I know you've been talking about like hardships of making money in the music industry, especially with horrible contracts and all of that. But content creation can be another like avenue, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of music producers that post content, but I don't know how much of a want there is for that, right? Because I feel like it's super niche.
I don't think it's niche. Or maybe when it comes to DJing might be more popular.
Maybe.
Like on TikTok, I see so many like mixes of like popular songs and everyone's like, yo, this is fire.
Wait, that could be fun.
Yeah. And your friend, you're big in a club, makes TikTok videos about DJing.
Yeah.
So
Alex.
he can help you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. We might have to talk about this more later.
Yes.
Sheena.
Yeah. Low
Yeah.
key. So as our time is ending, I'm gonna give you a couple more fun questions. Who right now? Okay, name 3 songs that you would recommend that you listen to the most right now.
Okay. Wait, let me think about this for a second.
Yeah.
3 songs. Okay.
Yeah, 3 songs ready.
Yeah. So, first song, there's a song called So Cold by Haze. She's a Korean artist, really good. It's really sad, but
It's good.
I like listening to that one like really late at night. Then second song, there's a song called Doritos and Fritos. That's really crazy. Sheena loves this song too, actually.
I don't
It's
like
one of her
this-
favorite songs.
I don't like this song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's by 100 Gex. That one's really interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. The music video is really cool. You should watch that one. And third song, check out Easy by Bixby. That's one of my boys.
Easy by Bixby.
Really
is
good
so
song.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh wow. Do you what do you feel about like the interesting, very niche vibe of like Doritos and Fritos with that kind of music? Do you really like it? Like, are you listening to it? Like, this is like musical geniusness, or what is it for? When do you listen to that kind of music?
Yeah. So 100 Gex, if you guys aren't familiar, they're a really crazy hyperpop duo. I mean, I don't think they like to be categorized as just hyperpop, but they make really experimental music. And like I think it's hard to get into it, but once you start listening to really weird tracks like that, it's just really fun
So it's
because
like stimulating.
it's very stimulating, yeah. Because a lot of the music nowadays, it sounds very similar. Like everyone's trying to blow up on TikTok or just have like a mainstream song.
Yeah.
Or like I mentioned earlier, Metro Boomin. I think he's a really good producer, but he definitely produces for a mainstream audience. So
Right.
that could be kind of boring for me because like if your inspiration is already what's in the mainstream, then your music's just not going to be that interesting in my opinion, right?
Would you say interesting is more important than sounds that are more familiar?
Or wait, I would actually say that it's way or if you want to be popular, you should probably just use the mainstream sounds. But I like listening to weird music that has all of the niche, whatever, like underground influences, because sometimes that seeps into the mainstream and
Right.
that becomes like the new trend. Like, you know that song, I Just Wanna Rock by
Yeah.
Lil Uzi?
Yeah.
So there's this artist, Sky Water, that was making Jersey Club music before it was popular. He's like an underground artist.
Yeah.
And
And now Jersey Club is popular.
yeah. And like it even got influenced to like New Jeans and stuff. Like even in like the K-pop music scene.
Right.
So yeah, the influences they like spread around.
So do you like
I think
being
it's
like
really
the
fun.
first to know the trends before it gets really popular?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Because there's always a lot of different sounds in the underground that like you're not sure which one's gonna break through. So recently, Plug and B has been popular in the underground. Rage music. Do you know like I Miss the Rage by Trippie Redd?
I think I heard of it.
Like I miss the rage.
No.
Or, yeah, maybe not. Wait, we could cut that out. Yeah,
I'll cut it out.
yeah.
Sheena, future Sheena or Vanita.
Please cut that out.
Actually, no, that was amazing. Wait, no, put that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But,
so
like,
before
they got
Trippie
into
Redd
it. Yeah.
was making the album of that type of music,
Yeah.
there was already a bunch of underground artists that were making it first. So the mainstream artists definitely get inspired by the younger people. Because younger people are more creative too.
Right. So that's you.
Yeah.
So are you trying to get into making more crazy, interesting music? I know you're trying to get internship maybe. So are you trying to dabble into that area?
Yeah. So, or I don't want to speak too much about the internship because it's up in the air, but like for music-wise, I've been listening to a lot of Gucci Mane lately.
Okay, Gucci Mane.
From like 2010s. Because my boy CJ, he like sent me this song that as a reference. Like, okay, to give some context, music producers and artists, when they reach out to me, usually they'll tell me like, oh, like I want a song kind of like this song, or they'll send me a playlist of references to kind of be inspired by. And he sent me this Gucci Mane song called like On the Block or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was from his 2014 album, and it sounds really cool because I think like the musical influences are always like coming back around, right? So while this wouldn't have been popular like 5 years ago, I could totally see this 2014 Gucci Mane sound coming back for some of the rappers. So
right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you always? I know you like to listen to like older music too, like early 2000s as well. So you feel like those sounds will be the rising trends in the future?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that 2000s music is old.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's old for me because that's probably like
For-
the oldest that I listen to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really feel like it's gonna come back around because I feel like kids our age really like the Justin Bieber's, the Selena Gomez type of vibes, like that EDM
Yeah.
pop, and it just sounds really nostalgic. And that songwriting style was really good in my opinion. So I think that style is gonna come back soon.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. To finally end this podcast, give us the best song to play at a party to get the crowd going.
Best party song?
Yeah. In your set list.
Okay. My favorite song to play is probably This Is What You Came For by Rihanna and Calvin Harris. Because
Yes.
every time the vibes are bad, like if I'm losing the crowd, I'll just skip to that song. Yeah.
And it gets hype again.
Yeah, usually brings the energy up.
Okay. I'll be noting that for my next pregame.
Mm.
Thank you, Aidan Han, for joining us today on the episode. I hope you had fun. I hope you guys learned some more inside deets about the music industry. Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
of course. Thank you. Okay. Ooh, that was
Sick.
fun.
That was fun.